All right. Good evening, everyone. How are you all? Quite a similar faces I can see. Very good evening to one and all. Wow, it's so excited to see such a diverse group of people. Thank you so much, folks, for joining in. And it's wonderful and great to see you here for this session. Thank you so much again. I am super excited for this session, and I am sure that you will be too excited to know what will be the agenda of this call and what is that we are going to learn and take this insight. I hope you all are excited, right? Can you just show me thumbs up? Yes, I can see Vinny, Vijayanand, Nagaraju showing. Yes. So let's get started. So you all must be thinking, why are we here today, right? So what is that we are going to learn? What is the kind of insight we want to take it from today, right? So before that, I want to just quickly introduce myself. I am Shweta Raichur. I have an extensive experience of 13 years into talent acquisition, where I had the privilege to work for some of the startups, mid-size organization, and large MNCs. So I have hired across various proficiencies, starting from freshers to mid-career, senior, and leadership hiring. So the kind of domains I have hired is more into IT, digital, cybersecurity, SAP, and currently I'm associated with a Korean-based MNC where I'm working for an automotive sector. So that's all about me. So let's get started without wasting any time. All right. So the moment I tell the word interview, so what comes? Okay, so before even I, get into the discussion, I need a couple of promises from your end that you are going to stay back until the end of the session, because I have something surprise for you at the end. Can I get that promise that you're going to stay back? I think only Vijayanand can, it's just showing, right? All right. Thanks, Vineet, Ravi, Nagaraju. All right. And also, people who are at the back of the camera, I request everyone to please be on the camera, because I don't feel good when I feel that I'm just talking to some wall if I don't see you people, right? I'm an HR, and it's, for me, human connect, human touch is more important, right? So that's two promises. One is I want everyone to be on the camera. Second thing is I do not want to leave, you to leave the session until 8:30, because that surprise is coming at the end. Okay. So I was talking about the moment I tell about the word interview, what goes in everyone's mind? Maybe for some people, it's a fear or an anxiety. For some people, it is like, what CTC should I ask to this company, right? Right? What role will I be getting? And for some people, it is like, okay, if I go and, attend this interview, what kind of question the interviewer might ask? That is something which I think everyone has this, and everyone would have undergone this. Many of us are in the process of taking interviews, right? Or, many of them would have even completed, and quite a few of them would, are waiting for certain calls, right? So I'm sure these are some of the things which you will, feel before you take any interview. I hope I'm right, right? Yes. So usually as an HR, I come across candidates where they usually tell me, ma'am, myself and my friend have given an interview, but only my friend got selected. I did not get selected. Why? Because we, both studied together. The resumes are same. So now the point is we need to understand why that interviewer, or the hiring manager, selected or shortlisted that candidate over the other candidate. That is something which is really important, which we need to, think. What made him out of the crowd, right? Second thing is the moment we get to know that this is an interview, and we first thing is we need to research about the company. What company are you going to interview? What kind of industry they are, belonging? And second thing is the role. What kind of role are they being hired for? Third thing is, you need to understand who are the company's customer or the clients. So this is the pre-preparation, whether it's a fresher or a mid-professional, senior leadership, any proficiency, this is the pre-preparation which everyone has to do before entering into any interview, right? So now let's understand what is going on in an interviewer's mindset, right? I'm just going to share my screen. Give me a minute. All right, so interviewer's mindset. So first thing, what the interviewer is looking out for in a candidate is competency. So when I tell the word competency, definitely it doesn't mean your so-called Java or AWS or cloud skills, right? So competency is nothing but your knowledge, your ability to perform a task, right? So if I have to give you an example of competency, your networking, your team collaboration, your problem solving skills, your leadership. So those are some of the factors which comes under competency, right? So the next is attitude. Okay. So the moment I say attitude, what is attitude actually? If I have to, tell you in a layman language, in our day-to-day life, we usually, have the statement, oh, that person, he has too much of attitude. Why? If someone is not listening to us, he or she is having an attitude, right? This is what we term as attitude. But attitude is, someone where I can tell when it comes to an interview, it's not only about your technical fitment. The candidate has to be culturally fit as well. Plus, he or she should be aligned to your company's value. He might be a solid developer, he might have, cracked about 100 codes, lines of codes and all. But what if he is unable to align with the company's culture? It's going to spoil the entire team, correct? Third is adaptability. When it comes, so I'm just talking about the attributes of the attitude. Adaptability, how the candidate is adaptable to the ongoing changes. Then finally, we have most importantly your ethics, integrity, and honesty, right? I think most of them would have heard or would also have undergone saying that during COVID, everyone were working remotely. And I have come across where a person is working for 4 different companies at the same time. So that is not a great attitude. And even to this day, most of the hiring managers which I have worked for, they always tell, Shweta, I hire only for attitude. See, no university can teach you attitude. Maybe, your technical courses can, you can go through YouTube or any training institute and get those. But attitude is something which is, inborn or a trait, correct? Lastly is your willingness to learn, right? It is like if you're telling ki, okay, this is my job and this is what it is. My time is over. I have completed 9 hours and I have to go. So this kind of willingness will definitely not make you stand out of the crowd, right? So second thing was attitude. I'm again going to share my screen, and the third will be problem solving. So now if there are 4 or 5 candidates for a position, So why why the hiring manager has to select that specific person? So maybe he has a good problem solving skills. His analytical, logical thinking would be beyond the other candidates. What is his creativity and innovation, right? For example, if there is any issue and if we have to pay more money and get the issue solved, of course, every company looks for saving the cost. And if there is any person who can solve this problem with his creative or innovative mindset, he is something which every company wants, right? I hope you are in line with me, right? So third one is problem solving. No, the next one is the learning ability. So as I was mentioning, learning ability is, for example, now we have, I have a Java developer, right? And his project is almost coming to an end. Now the hiring manager says, of course, when you have to go to the next project, there is a buffer of close to about 1 month of time. But in the other project, there are opportunities where he can fit in. But if he says, no, I am a developer and I want a core development job, I do not want to go to maintenance or support role, scope of work. So that is something which interviewer is not looking for, right? Maybe when you are telling, he is able to take it, but the kind of ability when you have to put it across, this is something which is a no for any interviewer or an hiring manager. Last is the communication. So when I say communication, everyone will think about, it's more about talking. I have to talk and he should listen. But communication is not only about talking or using those jargons or using those US accents and all. No. Even in your simple language, if you are able to communicate well, that is enough. And most importantly, communication is first thing is listening skills. First, listen properly, understand what the hiring manager is asking for. Take a pause of few minutes and then answer. So last point was communication. All right. So next, when we get to know what are the interviewer's mindset, we should also understand what are the common mistake we or as a candidate we do, right? So it's not only about hiring manager did not select. I did a wonderful job. I answered all the question. But there are certain mistakes which we also do as a candidate, right? So let's see one by one, what are those mistakes? Yes, the first one is not listening carefully, which I just reiterated, saying that listen to the question. Then also I would like to highlight when, we are talking to the global teams across the borders, right? Sometimes they might not be able to understand our English or we might not able to follow, right? Please ensure you ask them to repeat. There is no harm saying that, okay, I did not understand the question. Can you please repeat it? The moment you ask, he feels that, okay, this candidate is actually listening and he's able to, analyze and give that answer. Don't ever think that, oh, if I ask again, he might think that, I might not be a fit. Please don't get into that conclusion, right? First, listen carefully what the interviewer is asking. Take a pause a few seconds, tailor your answer, tweak your answers accordingly what is required. Next is generic answers. Yeah, this is something which every interview, in my 13 years of experience, at least in a day, I interview close to about 20 to 25 people. The moment I ask them to explain about their projects, or even about themselves. So I usually ask he, please tell me what is not there in your resume, because whatever he has put it in a resume, everyone can read it, right? They will not be even able to answer what is that, it's not there in the resume, because either it is been like done by someone else, or they have not put their whole and soul in writing what they have done actually. And when it comes to generic answer, for example, I want to quote it. If the hiring manager asks, what kind of challenges you have faced in your previous company or in your previous projects. Usually, the ideal candidate is like, oh, in my in my previous project, there were close to about 15 members, and this was it, and we tried doing it, but after that when it was not able to we were not able to solve it, we pushed it to the next level because this is something which we couldn't do it. So this is a very generic answer, right? So please avoid giving generic answer. Even though if it is short and crisp, ensure it is aligned to the interviewer's question. Make sense? All right. Next is poor body language. See, 70% of your interview is basically on your body language, right? Now I am delivering a session. Can I sit like this or like this and give the session? No. How excited you will be in, if I, sit like this and give the session. Moreover, whenever you are in an interview, especially in face-to-face discussion, nowadays I think most of the interviews have been conducted through Teams, right? But even though through virtual, please ensure you groom yourself properly, have a proper body language, don't look here and there, because these things, even though the hiring manager doesn't have it, you are going to put those things in his mind. There is someone, right? So please ensure your body language, eye contact, everything is in line, right? Next is the tonality. I usually come across candidates saying that this is the answer what I was looking for. This is the question. I've already done this kind of work in my previous company. No, this is not the tone, right? So ensure your tone, your pitch is in sync, right? It should not be too harsh where the interviewer is feeling that, oh, this person is like kind of, you know, uh, too much smart to give, the high tonality answer. So please ensure your tone is proper. Finally, rushing to the responses. So when I say rushing to the response, even though interviewer has not completed his question, okay, sir, I know this answer. I will tell you, sir. See, this is what is it. He would have not even completed it. At least allow him to complete, put his question and then answer. So this shows that, yes, I understand candidates are kind of enthusiastic and they want to just finish it off, right? Because that 1 hour, it's like they want to just go outside. Ki kab maine, finish kiya and when I just go out. So please allow the interviewer to finish the question. Don't be in a hurry to finish your answer. So these are some of the common mistakes, as a candidate, everyone does it. So how do you overcome this is what is today's topic all about. I hope till now everyone is in line with me. Thank you so much. All right, so next, go to the next slide. Okay, so basically, when you get to know what is the interviewer's mindset, what is the kind of, mistakes we do, how do you overcome that? There should be, for every problem, there should be a solution, right? So the solution is nothing but today's topic, which is all about behavioral interviewing. Most of the companies are still following the traditional method. I'm sure most of the hiring managers must be there in this session, right? What happened in the traditional way of interview is they just see a resume. Okay. Oh, where are you basically from? Oh, you're from this place. Oh, I also are from this place. Chalo, you're hired. No, that's really not going to happen, in these days. But certain companies, nothing offensive, but yes, still we see this practice in certain companies. But when I say behavioral interview, it is something which is beyond your resume, beyond your technical skills, right? So what is behavioral interview, right? The word itself says key behavior. Whatever you have done in the past will certainly predict your future. To just I have simplified it to my extent, right? So behavioral interview is something which, whatever you have done in the past will definitely show that and predict your future roles. So how is this behavioral interview conducted? The moment you see start, did anyone look at the sky? Is that something which I'm getting something from the sky? Was that anyone did it? All right. So when this is the framework, when I say the behavioral interview. So in short, it is called as STAR. So that's when I asked Ki, whenever the moment you saw STAR, did someone look at the sky? So STAR is nothing but your situation, your task, action, and the kind of results, right? So how do you, when an interviewer asks you, how do you put it across your answers in this situation, in this scenario? Mostly every level of interview, in case if the company is following at across level behavioral interviews, this is the framework where every hiring manager follows, right? Okay, so what is the situation? So now, for example, if you consider my case, I just want to give you an example. So there was a situation in my previous company where we had to get a business. That was an offshore development project, and we had to get a business. So we had to hire 20 engineers, and it has to be revamped within a month's time. So it was very urgent. So that was a situation, or else we would have lost billions of dollars. So this was a situation, and the task which was assigned to me was, Shweta, you have to hire around 20 engineers by, a month's time. That was the task given to me. What is the action is what I did, X, Y, Z, all those things. And the result was we were able to onboard all the 20 people within a month's time. So I hope you got the context of what is the situation, task, action, and result. See, this will definitely not come overnight. Tomorrow, okay, if I have to attend an interview and, I have to tell about situation, no, it's definitely not going to come. The only key thing which I want to highlight here is practice, practice, and practice. Give as many interviews as possible. No problem. Maybe you will fail one time or you will get rejected one time. If you are rejected, it doesn't mean that you're a bad candidate, right? Second time, maybe you are able to perform better. Third time, but the fourth time, you will be able to crack it because you would have mastered this, right? So situation is something which you need to see. All these situation, task, and action and result should be in a storytelling format. People should not feel that, okay, whatever is written in the resume, he's telling the same thing. What is that, how should we hire this person? Correct? So, because people love to hear stories, right? Whether it is a neighbor story, whether it is a office story, everyone loves to hear, hear stories, right? So why not use this technique in your professional to elevate your career, right? So if I have to give you a very specific example of situation is, for an example, if a company wants to remove its manual process and automate the process of data entries, that is the situation, right? So what exactly, the task the engineer has to do it, he has to streamline the process, he need to see what is the error, right? What are the bottlenecks? So these are the tasks which he has to perform, or he has to see how I can automate this, right? So action is again, coordinating with the IT team. We need, he has to see what kind of software is inclined, right? Again, I was talking about action, the errors, the bottlenecks. What once that software is inclined, what we need to train people, right? Training. So those are the actions which will be performed. The result is you would have reduced almost 60 to 80% of your manual efforts. Another thing is, always remember, folks, result has to be in quantitative terms. You just cannot say, okay, this project was released, I'm happy, we enjoyed and all. No. Always quantify your result. I saved the company so many billions. The turnover was so many crores. The sales was achieved for 60%. In my case, I told, right, we onboarded 20 resources. When you tell that number, that itself makes you stand out of the crowd or something different from what others are, right? So storytelling is something which you all have to practice, and it will certainly, as I told, it is not going to be, a success in one day. Got it? I hope you're all in line with me. All right. So the final thoughts I would like to tell you about is, whenever you finish an interview, right? And the interviewer asks, do you have any questions? Most of them say, no, sir, I have already got the job description. I have seen it. I don't have any question, right? Please don't do that mistake. That's when my first point was, please understand the company's profile, the role, the business, so that you will be able to understand or ask the question to the interviewer. There is no harm, right? There's no harm in asking the question. That is something which, you start to practice it, right? Most 90% of the crowd is not, asking these questions. So you guys are making our job easy then, right? So next is prepare. I told you, right? Prepare, prepare, prepare. Preparation is the key. Align with interviewer's need. Don't give generic answer. Please ensure that, whatever questions they have asked, tailor it, customize it as per what questions they are asking. So please highlight your USP using the STAR technique. Why, the company has to hire Vineet over Nagaraju, correct? So Vineet has to tell about his unique selling proposition, what makes him stand out of the crowd, correct? See, interview is just not about the company has a requirement and they have just called for an interview. I have to just go finish and come. No, please consider that as a platform to showcase your talent, your problem solving abilities. How is that you want to take your career to the next level? It's that, it's a chance to prove you are the best fit, because that 1 hour is something which decides whether you are in or you're out. Got it? All right. So coming to the conclusion, I hope this session was insightful. You took a lot of insight is what I'm assuming. But as I told in my initial starting statement that I have a surprise for you. What is that surprise? Do you want to know? How many of you want the behavioral questions? I'm actually preparing it. How many wants it? You just need to raise the hands like this then. Right. So in order to get those questions, what you have to do is join our WhatsApp community. You have to first join our Facebook group, download the PDF there. And if you're a first time joiner, I just wanted to, highlight this as well. For example, if you're joining for the first time, make sure you join our WhatsApp community. There you will get session updates. So these are something which goes every day. And to download the question bank, you have to join our Facebook community. And yes, what's going to happen tomorrow, which is something which is excited. I want you all to set a reminder for tomorrow. It's 7:55 sharp, which is going to be a session with none other than Mr. Naveen Upadhyay, where he will tell you if you're stuck in your career, what is that you want to do, right? So please ensure you're all there. As much as possible, repost and share these links with your family, friends, colleagues, because knowledge sharing is something which, no one can take it away. And if you're sharing your knowledge, no one is going to, you're not giving kind of money, right? So please ensure the more we share, the more we learn. So let's keep rocking. Let's keep learning. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today's session. Have a wonderful day and all the best for your assignments.